Hey guys, and welcome to the Command Tower. We make EDH Deck Techs. If you enjoy these videos, make sure to like and subscribe. Today's deck is a Grenzo Dungeon Warden deck. Grenzo's casting cost is X and a black and a red, and he's a 2/2, and he enters the battlefield with X/1/1 counters. Now if you pay 2, you put the bottom card of your library into your graveyard. Then if it's a creature card with a power less than or equal to Grenzo's power, put it onto the battlefield. So basically, this deck is going to have really scary creatures, but their power is going to be like 2 or 3. But their effects is going to be really good. Now the total price of this deck is $35.54, and let's just get right into the deck. First off, we got ramp. Since Grenzo wants to get creatures onto the battlefield, most of our ramp is going to be creatures. Leaden Mirror taps for black, and Iron Mirror taps for red. Palladium Mirror taps for 2 colorless, and Hedron Crawler taps for 1 colorless. Burnished Heart, if you pay 3 and sacrifice it, you get 2 basic lands onto the battlefield tapped. In Solemn Simulacrum, you get a basic land on the battlefield tapped when it enters. When it dies, you draw a card. Vessel of Endless Rest, when it enters the battlefield, put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library, which is good because it's what you want to do with Grenzo, and it taps for 1 mana of your color. Soldevi Adnate, tap and sacrifice a black artifact creature to an added amount of black equal to that creature's casting cost to your mana pool. This is really good because we're cheating very high mana cost creatures out. Fires of Invention, you can cast spells only during your turn, and you can cast no more than 2 spells each turn. You may cast spells with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of lands you control, without paying their mana costs. So basically, you're going to get to play more high cost spells, and you probably weren't going to play spells on opponents' turns anyway. And plus, you don't have to tap your lands for spells, so you can tap your lands for Grenzo's ability. And Thran Turbine, very good card. During upkeep, you can add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool, and you can't spend that mana on spells. So basically, you can just spend that mana on Grenzo's ability, so you get like 1 free activation on your turn. Since creature cards need to be on the bottom of your library for Grenzo, we've got some cards that can get them there. Canal Dredger, tap, put the card from your graveyard on the bottom of your library. Junk Troller is the same. And Epitaph Golem is the same, but you have to pay 2. Retail Lantern is the same, but you have to pay 3. Talogy Lad Stylus, it's a really good card. You tap to put target permanent unit on the bottom of your library. So, a lot of cards care about when they enter the battlefield. So, you just keep going those triggers by putting it on the bottom and then playing it again. The Cauldron of Eternity costs 2 less cast for each creature card in your graveyard. Whenever a creature you control dies, put it on the bottom of your library. And if you pay 3, tap, pay 2 life, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Only do that as a sorcery. Best part is that when a creature you control dies, it goes on the bottom of your library. So you can just keep playing them with the Grenzo. Crystal Ball, you pay 1, tap it, scry 2, so you look at the top 2 cards of your library, put any number of them on the bottom of your library, and the rest on the top. So basically, you can get the creature cards that you want on the bottom, or just keep on top. Seer, sacrifice a creature to scry 1. Darksteel Pendant, it's indestructible, and you pay 1 and tap it to just scry. Goblin Charbelcher, slot attacks. Basically, you just pay 3, reveal cards until you get a land, and it deals damage equal number of non-land cards revealed this way to target creature or player. And if it was a mountain, he does twice that much damage. So it's just a good way to deal damage. But then, the revealed cards go on the bottom of your library in any order. So you just get the creatures that you want on the bottom. And Clone Shell, when it enters battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library, exile 1 face down, then put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Once again, it's just good because you get to put them on the bottom of your library in any order. And when it dies, you turn the exiled card face up. If it's a creature card, put it on the battlefield under your control. Now you might be wondering what cards there are that have low power but good abilities. Well, these are those cards. Drake's Town Forgotten, and his battle with X/1/1 counters on it, or X number of creature cards in all graveyards. If you pay 3, remove 1 counter from it. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Pentavus, enters the battlefield with 5 1 counters on it. and you pay 1, remove a 1/1 counter from it, create a 1/1 with flying, and pay 1 and sacrifice a Pentavite, put a 1/1 counter on it. Ignition Team, really good card. Enters the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it, where X is the number of tapped lands on the battlefield. You pay 3 to remove a 1/1 counter from it. Target land becomes a 4/4 red elemental until end of turn. Newscraft Mob enters the battlefield with 5 1/1 counters. Whenever a player casts a spell, remove a 1/1 counter from it. If you do, create a 2/2 zombie. Meaning of the Waste. Trample. When it enters the battlefield, you can pay any amount of life, and its power and toughness equal to that amount. This can just be a fun card because you could just go all out and pay all of your life except for 1 while it's on the bottom, like when you play it from the bottom of your library right before your turn. And then you just swing in for a ton at one person. Thief of Blood. Flying. When it enters the battlefield, remove all counters from all permanents. And Thief of Blood enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter for each counter removed this way. Creepy Doll. It's indestructible. When it deals combat damage to a creature, flip a coin. If you win the flip, destroy that creature. And Brash Taunter. Indestructible. When Brash Taunter is dealt damage, it deals damage to target opponent. If you pay 3, tap it, it fights another target creature. And Archetype of Finality. Creatures you control have Death Touch, and creatures your opponents control lose Death Touch. You can't have or gain Death Touch. Duplicant. When it enters the battlefield, you can exile target non-token creature. And then Duplicant just has the power and toughness and creature types of that creature. Gonti, Lord of Luxury. Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield, like the top 4 cards of target opponent's library, exile 1 face down. And you can look at that card and play it, and use mana or a mana of any color to play this spell. Herald of Leshrac, one of my favorite cards. Flying. Cumulative Upkeep. Gain control of a land you don't control. And it gets +1/+1 for each land you control but don't own. When it leaves play, each player gains control of each land he or she owns that you control. So it's gonna ramp you a lot and hurt your opponents, and there's a good chance they'll just kill it, but if they don't, it provides you with a lot of value. Mindclaw Shaman. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals his or her hand. You can cast an instant or sorcery from that player's hand without paying its mana cost. Just overall good. Raving Dead. Death Touch. Beginning of combat on your turn, choose an opponent at random. Raving Dead attacks that player this combat Fable. When it deals combat damage to a player, that player loses half his or her life total, rounded down. Siege Gang Commander. When it enters the battlefield, create 3 1/1 goblin creature tokens. If you pay 2 and sacrifice a goblin, he does 2 damage to any target. Fury Stroke Giant. Really good card. When it comes into play, other creatures you control gain tap. This creature deals 2 damage to target creature or player until end of turn. And it has Persist. It's just an easy way to get a lot of damage in. Zathrid Gorgon. Death Touch. You pay 3 and tap it and put a petrification counter on target creature. It gains Defender, becomes a colorless artifact in addition to its other types, and its activated abilities can't be activated. And Zealous Conscripts has haste. When it enters the battlefield, gain control of target permanent until end of turn. And you untap it and it gains haste. Since these creatures don't do a lot of damage, we got some ways to do some extra damage. Sir Conrad. It's basically whenever a creature is put into your graveyard or leaves your graveyard, he deals 1 damage to your opponent. If you pay 2, each player mills a card. And since Grenzo puts creatures into your graveyard before he puts them on the battlefield, you'll get 2 damage if it's a creature. Gray, Merchant of Asphodel. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life for X is your devotion to black. You gain life equals the life lost this way. Desecrated Tomb. Whenever 1 or more creature cards leave your graveyard, create a 1/1 black bat with flying. Once again, if you put a creature into the graveyard with Grenzo, it leaves and then goes to the battlefield, so you'll get bats from that. And Flayer of the Hatebound. Undying. When it dies, if it had no 1/1 counters on it, return its battlefield with a 1/1 counter. When it or another creature enters the battlefield in your graveyard, that creature deals damage equal to its power to any target. Then we got some card advantage. Vampiric Rites. Pay 2, sacrifice a creature, you gain a life and draw a card. Zolda the Blood Witch. Pay 2, sacrifice a creature. She deals 2 damage to target creature or player. If the sacrifice creature is red, you draw a card. If the sacrifice creature is black. Humble Defector. Tap it, draw 2 cards, target opponent gains control of it, and only do that during your turn. Theater of Horrors. View your upkeep, exile top card of your library. During your turn, if an opponent lost life this turn, you can play cards exiled with it. If you pay 4, it deals 1 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. Underworld Connections. Enchanted land has tap, pay 1 life, draw a card. Goblin Engineer. When it enters battlefield, you search a library artifact card, put it into your graveyard, shelf your library. Pay red, tap it, sacrifice an artifact, return target artifact card, convert mana that costs 3 or less from your graveyard to your battlefield. It's really good because there's a lot of good artifact cards in this deck. Read the Bones. Scry 2, then draw 2 cards, and you lose 2 life. Hoarder's Greed. You lose 2 life and draw 2 cards, and clash with the opponent. If you win, repeat the process. Funeral Rites. You draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, and mill 2 cards. Then we got Removal. Since Grenzo wants creature cards on the bottom of your library, most of these removal cards are going to be creatures. Ravenous Chupacabra. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature and opponent controls. Shriekmaw. Fear. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target non-artifact, non-black creature. Just evoke for 2. Necrotal. First Strike. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target non-artifact, non-black creature. Can't be regenerated. Meteor Golem. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target non-land permanent opponent controls. Tug Scrapper. When it or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, you can destroy target artifact. If that artifact is put into a graveyard this way, it deals damage equal to that artifact's controller, equal number of allies you control. So you're not going to have any other allies in this deck, but it's just still a good card to destroy artifacts. Goblin Crater Maker. Pay 1, sacrifice it, choose 1. It deals 2 damage to target creature, or destroy target colorless non-land permanent. Murderous Rider has an instant adventure, destroy target creature or planeswalker, you lose 2 life. Then his lifelink, when it dies, it goes on the bottom of his owner's library, so you can just keep getting it back with Grenzo. Get to the point, destroy target creature and you scry 1. Fire Prophecy, a really good card in the deck. Deals 3 damage to target creature. You could put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library. If you do, draw a card. You just get to pick any card from your hand and put it on the bottom of your library, so you just pick the best creature go on the bottom. Magma Jet. She deals 2 damage to any target and you scry 2. Lastly, we've got lands. Cinder Barrens enters the battlefield tapped, taps for Rakdos colors. Urborg Volcano and Rakdos Guildgate are the same. Akum Refuge, Bloodfell Caves, the same, but you gain a life when they enter. Command Tower taps for 1 mana recolor. Zhalfir and Void enters the battlefield, scry 1, and it taps for colorless. Rogue's Passage taps for colorless, and you can pay 4 and tap it. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. Drownyard Temple taps for colorless. Pay 3, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield, tapped. Since Grenzo puts stuff in your graveyard, you have a chance you might put this in your graveyard and you can get it back. It's got 14 swamps and 14 mountains. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and have a great day.